I got all of them organized like this, and I could pull them out and show you, but like that's just like that, and then but like you wouldn't get to see the full album cover. Ugh, excuse me, it's just not gonna work. So, what I think is the best choice is to push it around like this, prop you up on the movies like that, and then I'm just gonna pull out the records and just show them off and to say a few things about them. So I got a good amount of records in here. This is the main thing I collect. I collect movies. Yes, I got a good amount of movies. Like I own whole box sets. I own super obscure shit like Flesh Eater, right? But music is the main one. Movies is a side thing I occasionally collect. Music is the main beast. So I'm gonna go over all of my records here. So I do have a few of the things that you would typically expect from like a normal record collection you would see from like someone my age. But I also do have a few other slightly more unique picks. So let's just dive right into it. So starting off, I have all these in alphabetical order and release order by artist. So starting off, we have 10,000 gecs by 100 gecs. This is their LP that came out last year, 2023. I really love like the rock influences in this. It's really diverging from what they're typically known for. It's kind of creating a new sound, but like is still recognizably 100 gecs. And you know, hyperpop not for everyone, and I totally respect that. But this is an awesome album, and I would totally give this a listen if you can. It's super short, it's like 30 minutes. Next up, I got Down to the Moon, Andreas Vollenweider, I think that's how you say it. This is a super fun little album here. I think it's just instrumental. I'm going to turn off my LED lights so you can actually see these album covers. That is a lot better. Okay, so we got Down to the Moon by Andreas Vollenweider. This is just a whole bunch of instrumental pieces. I really love this album, genuinely. My dad showed this to me, and if I would recommend listening to this, if you want the LP for it, I bought this for 75 cents off Discogs. Go for it. Next up, I got Who Zoomin' Who by Aretha Franklin. I got this in a flea market for $5. I don't know too much about Aretha Franklin, and I don't really listen to much else of her. This is really the only LP that I've heard from her. But I really think this album is pretty good. My mom saw it and said that I had to get it, so she bought it for me. So I think it's a good album. It has a decent amount of songs in it that I really like. It's not one of my favorite albums, but every now and then when I sometimes feel like R&B, I just pop this on. We got an absolute classic. We got Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. I don't really need to say much. This is one of the, I don't know, this isn't a first pressing, but this is definitely an older pressing. That my brother got me. This is a little torn here. But yeah, iconic album. Probably some of the best tracks about the Beatles has ever put out, honestly. Yeah, that might be a hot take, actually. I don't know. We'll see. Bing Crosby's Merry Christmas. This is just a Christmas album that I've been really wanting to get for a while. When I got it like November last year, during Christmas time, I really wanted to get this one because it's one of the best Christmas albums of all time. Fucking kill me. It's right. I'm correct. You can't argue with me about that. So I was really annoyed because I can only find it new, and then I just looked on Discogs, sorted through the like thousands of pressings in the US there were for this thing, and I found one that was super cheap. I think I got it for like $15. Amazing condition, even came with like an inner sleeve. It was awesome. We've got Black Sabbath self-titled here. This is the only Black Sabbath album that I own. I need to listen to more Black Sabbath. I am really behind on that. But yeah, I really do like this album. Favorite track on here is probably going to be NIB, or like that whole like Spotify like has them like has 4 tracks like grouped up into one song. So you got the Wasp behind the wall asleep basically, and NIB. Awesome. I love those. Love all of those tracks. They're so good. Also just super eerie atmosphere for an album. It's awesome. Got Boston self-titled here. We're in the self-titled territory right now, aren't we? Classic rock. You know, dad rock. No need to say much else. It's awesome. Now we're getting a little bit more of obscure territory. So this is This is a Mallsoft album, which is for those of you who don't know, is a subgenre of vaporwave. So this is made by Cat System Corp. I can't remember the translation for the title of the album, but this was a recent repressing that they put out that my brother also got for me. Thank God. He blind bought this for me. I had never listened to this before getting it, and this album rocks. If you're into Mallsoft and vaporwave, this is so good. This one's amazing. But yeah, if I can find the translation, I'll put it up on the screen right now, basically. So yeah, modern classic. Random Access Memories by Daft Punk. This is the only Daft Punk album I own. I don't really necessarily like most of Daft Punk stuff, honestly. There's a few tracks that I do really like Around the World's a classic. There are a few other tracks I just can't think of right now. But they have really good songs, don't get me wrong, but most of them are on this, and all of the other albums I just get bored sitting through just electronic music. It's just super samey to me. Sometimes it hits super hard though, like I said, Around the World. But sometimes it just gets a little too I get bored. Super obscure here. We got Halloween Lo-Fi Volume 2 by Dated. So Dated is a indie lo-fi beat producer. He specializes in like dusty and grimy and specifically like eerie sounding lo-fi beats or hip-hop beats. And every year he does an album called Halloween Lo-Fi that retakes samples from old horror movies from like the 50s, 60s, 70s, and creates beats out of them. And the vibe of them is so good, and he's recently started putting together these vinyl releases that go along with them. He started last year, where basically he just takes some of the best hits from no, he started 2 years ago now. Oh wow, it's been a while. He just takes some of the best hits from those albums and just puts them onto vinyl LPs. So this is Volume 2. I unfortunately missed Volume 1, but I'm not too mad about that. But yeah, I put this on during Halloween last year. Super awesome. I'm gonna put it on. I see myself putting this on every Halloween. Swept Away by Diana Ross. Picked this up at an antique store for $10. So Diana Ross I don't really listen to much Diana Ross. Only reason I picked this up is because of the track on here. What was it? Hold on, it's upside down. It's Your Move is the song sampled in Lisa Frank 420, the vaporwave song off of off of Vectroid or Macintosh Plus's album, Floral Shop. The rest of the album is good. I like it. I mostly picked it up for that song though, and I do like owning this little piece of like vaporwave history. I think it's funny and funky. Good stuff. We got Holy Diver by Dio, metal classic. This is one of the albums that got me into metal a few years ago. Iconic album. This is like a perfect album. It's probably in my maybe top 20 albums of all time. I really love this thing. It's really good. If you haven't listened to this yet, I would totally recommend listening to it now. Dio's other stuff, it's fine, I guess. I just find it kind of being old samey. Regarding his solo career, I've listened to some of his stuff that he did with Black Sabbath, and that stuff's awesome. But when it comes to his solo career, this is really the only thing that I can actually like get most enjoyment out of it, because all the other stuff just kind of sounds samey to me. That might be a hot take. I don't know. We got another lo-fi hip-hop producer. This is Steeds by eevee. This produces more of like a rainy atmosphere, sad anime, sad boy lo-fi music. But I dig it a lot. My favorite track on here is I Wonder If We're Dead. I heard that on a compilation or like a playlist that someone made many years ago of Halloween Lo-Fi, and I was listening to that. A playlist, this was before I discovered Dated existed. So I was listening to little Spotify playlists, and I found that track on here, loved it, checked out her other work, I think she's from Norway or Finland. I could be completely wrong, and I'm super sorry if I'm wrong about that for people that do know. But she's pretty obscure. I would totally recommend checking out her stuff. She has a really good atmosphere with all her lo-fi beats. Next up, we got a dad classic, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors. This is a first pressing, actually. It's in not the greatest condition. My brother actually bought this for himself, but it would skip on his player. He brought it up to my player to see how it played. It played just fine, so he just gave it to me. And I made it up to him by buying him a copy, a new copy, that's like 180 gram. But this one has a lot of surface noise on it due to the fact, it's not in the greatest condition. But I'm not really too mad about it. I don't listen to this one too often, and when I do listen to this vinyl pressing of it, I can usually tune out the surface noise pretty easily. But yeah, this is an awesome album. His favorite track on here has got to be Dreams. Or, no, sorry, The Chain. The Chain's the best song on here. Now we're into my Ghost section here. So I had a very big Ghost phase as a few months ago that lasted for a while. So I got a lot of Ghost EP. I got a lot of Ghost LPs here and one EP. But we got Meliora. This is the 2015 record. Favorite track on here has absolutely got to be, let's see, Cerise is the best track on here. I'm not as obsessed with Ghost as I used to be back a few months ago, but I still have a big appreciation for their sound and their music a lot. It's such a mood, and I really love putting on some of these records every now and then. Next up, we got Prequelle. This bounces back and forth between Impera and Prequelle of being my favorite Ghost album. This one's awesome because it has rats and Miasma. Miasma is an awesome 5-minute instrumental track that's progressive. It's just, it's so good. I love the vibes from that one. And then Life Eternal is heart-wrenching. I love this album. Then next up, we got Impera. This is the other one I bounce between two. Typically, I kind of usually say that Prequelle is my favorite album because that one has more consistent bangers. Well, side A of this is just all straight bangers. Side B has 20s, which I consider probably the worst song they've ever put out, ever. And then it's just followed by a whole bunch of mid songs. But then it follows up with Respite on the Spital Fields, which is, oh my god, probably one of the best songs they have ever made. It might be the best song they've ever made. So this is such a mixed album. It's such a train ride. It's such a ride. Train ride, roller coaster ride. That's what I'm looking for. I listened to this album. If you have not listened to it yet, or even Ghost, period, this is a really fun album. Yeah. So favorite track on here will probably be Respite on the Spital Fields or Spillways. 2023 EP. This is Phantomime. I really dig this EP. A lot more than the other EPs. This is one of the few records or EPs that they put out that I actually fully enjoy and actually re-listen to very frequently. So the thing is with Ghost EPs is that most of the time they're filled with covers of songs. So for example, this is 100% covers. We got See No Evil, I think that was originally done by Television. Jesus He Knows Me, which was originally done by Genesis. Hanging Around, which was done by The Stranglers, I think. Phantom of the Opera, which is a cover of Iron Maiden's Phantom of the Opera. I love this version so much. And then We Don't Need Another Hero. I can't remember the name of the artist for that who did the original version of that, but I know that she died last year, shortly after this release. And I knew my parents were distraught about that. So I think she had to have been pretty big, but I didn't know too much about her. So that is very unfortunate. You don't like anyone when artists die. It sucks. But yeah, I like this EP a lot. It's a lot of fun. Ghost is just a really fun band. We got the First Glass Beach album here. I consider this my favorite album of all time right now. It's so good. It's genuinely amazing. This is a masterpiece. Classic J Guys and Goes to Hell Part 1, Bedroom Community, for the instrumental track of Forever, Bone Skull, Neon Glow, Cold Weather, Calico, Glass Beach, Dallas, Planetarium, Soft Yoshi's Island, and the finishing off with Orchids. Holy shit, this thing is iconic. I love this album to death. Please listen to this if you haven't yet. It might not be your thing. They are fifth wave emo, so if that is not your thing, I would totally check them out anyway, because they're really good. They're so talented. And I also got their second record, which released this year, a few months ago. This is Plastic Death. So if you don't like fifth wave emo, they kind of abandoned that in this album. This is more of a prog rock album. So if you're interested in checking out Glass Beach and you're not really into emo as much, I would still listen to that first album, but definitely start with this one. Favorite track on here has got to be Motions, or maybe Slip Under the Door and Comatose. Alright, then we got, okay, so I got Good Kid EP1 and EP2 on one record, Good Kid EP3 on this record. So Good Kid is an indie rock band, for those who don't know. They specialize in more poppy rock, and they have like a very distinct sound that is very nice to listen to. Now with that said, I'm kind of growing a little sick of them. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sell these records at all. It's more with what they're putting out now. So if you are a Good Kid fan and you know what I'm talking about, then I really want to see more discussion on this, because in the community that I've seen, no one's really talking about this except from like album of the year and stuff. But the fact that all of their songs sound the same, they're super similar to each other, which isn't really a bad thing necessarily, but it's just they're following the same recipe over and over again, and it's just getting a little boring and stale. And there are a few songs where they do like experiment, like Ground was awesome. That one is actually labeled as a mystery track on this one. I actually heard it for the first time in a concert, and then went home and then listened to this record and heard the record version of it, and it was awesome. I love Ground. And Madeline is awesome. Madeline is also on this record as well. But those are the only two songs that they've experimented with. And a few, last Thursday of recording this video, they released Good Kid 4, which is another EP. They've been making music for around, I think they put out their first EP like 6 years ago, and they're still making EPs, and they have not diverged from their like super safe sound yet at all, and it's a little concerning, and I really wish they just do more experimenting, because they are a really talented group of people, but I just want to see more from them. I want to see more from them. Anyway, sorry, that's just my Good Kid rant. I have been wanting to do that. I might make a whole separate video on that, but digress. Got the Basket Case soundtrack here. I mentioned this movie in my horror movie collection that I released a while ago. Got the Basket Case era video Blu-ray here. I love this movie so much. It's so stupid and dumb. If you like bad horror movies, you'll love this movie. But yeah, I got the soundtrack on vinyl. Yeah, it's very cool. A classic. You got The Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. This is, I'm still yet to actually listen through a good amount of Iron Maiden albums. The only Iron Maiden albums that I've listened to all the way through are this one, and they're self-titled. And I need to listen to a lot more. I need to listen to Power Slave. I want to listen to Somewhere in Time, and I'll get to those. But yeah, this is the one I've listened to all the way through. Favorite track on here is self-titled, is the title track, Number of the Beast. Fucking awesome. Next up, we got Lazaretto by Jack White. This is, I mostly bought this for the gimmicks that come with the record on it. I don't think the album is that amazing, but it definitely has a very nice sound to it. It's bluesy indie rock. I'd check it out if you're interested in that. Oh, this is from Jack White. I think everyone knows Jack White. This is from his solo career. This isn't like the White Stripes or anything. But yeah. My Judas Priest section here. Starting off with a picture disc of, you can barely see it, but this is British Steel. I got it in this very strange version of it where it has a picture disc on one side and then the grooves on that side, and then it comes with a second disc that's the exact same way, where it has the album cover on that side, and then the second side on that. So you have to, when it finishes, you have to swap. It's weird, but this is the only way I could find this record in like the same track order on Spotify. So, and I don't really listen to it that often, so I'm not complaining. But this is an awesome Judas Priest record, Screaming for Vengeance. This one is it's a good album. It has its moments, like Electric Eye is awesome. Bloodstone is fun. Judas Priest is just super campy music, and I love their sound for that. And then the best Judas Priest album, Painkiller. This is the one that got me into them. I actually blind bought this in a store in Quebec last year while on a trip. And I wasn't really into records at the time then. I had a record player, but I hadn't really gotten as much in the hobby as much. And this album I loved so much, and this single-handedly got me back into collecting records again. So I love this record for multiple reasons, but that's one major one besides, you know, being an absolute banger. Then we got Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Around the Big Steppers. I need more Kendrick. This is the only Kendrick I have. I need to get Good Kid, Mad City and The Butterfly. But yeah, I'll get around to those eventually. But this is an awesome album. I love this one a lot. Then we got my massive King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard section. They are currently my favorite band at the moment. We have 7 albums here, so let's just get through all of them. Nonagon Infinity, Magnum Opus. No, I don't know about their Magnum Opus. They have one better album in my opinion. But this is absolutely one of the best albums they have made and probably ever will make. Not to say they're ever going to not peak again after this. I'm sure they will, but this will always remain one of the most iconic alternative rock albums of all time, honestly. Favorite track on here is going to be Robot Stop or People Vultures and Gamma Knife. Awesome tracks. Murder of the Universe. This is the rock opera that has narration in it with 3 stories. The 3 stories are The Tale of the Altered Beast, The Lord of Lightning versus Balrog, and Hantayumi and the Murder of the Universe. Very weird record lyrically and narratingly also. But yeah, this is a very strange record. I'd check it out if you're into weird shit. So then, switching up from their alternative rock sound that King Gizzard has, we all got their jazz rock album here that they made with Mild High Club. I really like this record. It's a lot of fun. Favorite track on here is The Spider in Me, easily. Omnium Gatherum. This is also King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. This is kind of like a mismatch of every single genre that they've ever ventured in. Also some new stuff. There's some hip-hop tracks on this. It's very silly. I really like it a lot. It's a very fun listen. The Dripping Tap, favorite track on that. We got Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava. This is their psych rock that also delves into a little bit of jazz fusion, a little bit. Not a ton, but you know, it has some of that in there. Favorite track on here is Iron Lung. My favorite King Gizzard album of all time. This is the super long-winded title, Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of the Eternal Night, an annihilation of planet Earth and the beginning of merciless damnation as the full album name. And you can tell I really like this album because if you look lightly down below, look at my YouTube profile picture, it looks a little familiar. This album fucks. Simply put, this album fucks. This is a progressive metal album, and I think the best way to describe it is it's the complexity of Tool mixed with the sound of Motorhead. And oh my god, it's just 7 tracks of just straight heat fire. There's not a single bad song on this thing, dude. I could listen to this forever. Genuinely one of the best albums I had ever heard. It's number 2 in like my top 5 album of the year, I think. Then we got Live in San Francisco 2016 album here. This is a fun little thing. It has a few songs on here that I don't really feel like buying the albums for that they're on, so I can just own live recordings of it, which is fine with me. Then we got moving past the Stranger Things, words. Moving past the King Gizzard section, we got Stranger Things. The Stranger Things soundtrack here. This is one of my first records that I owned for a while. I mean, yeah, Stranger Things is probably one of the best soundtracks for a TV show in a while. So it's really good. All I have to say about that. And then this next one has a bit of a story. So I'm about to raise this, and for the people who do know what this is, y'all are probably gonna be in shock when I tell this story. But for the people who are aware of this, you could probably already guess that I already own this because of the poster back there. But this is Floral Shop by Macintosh Plus. This is an official pressing, and I can prove that shit to you. It's like the shaded version that they did for the release of the vinyl version, so it's not like a shitty bootleg. This is the bubblegum pink pressing. This images on it are the same as well. I own this, so I'm not going to get into the giant big debacle of why this is super rare, because that's just not. I don't feel like going into that right now. I might link Ped Shennington's video about it in the description, or in an iCard or something like that, going over the whole story about this. But this is Floral Shop. This is one of the, just starting from the basics, this is Floral Shop. Macintosh Plus, which is a alternative name for an artist named Vectroid. This is one of the most iconic vaporwave albums, and one of the most influential vaporwave albums that have ever been put out. It has the vaporwave song that you're thinking about, that you heard probably so many times. This is that was the one with the Diana Ross record I was talking about. So yeah, so funny story about this. This is super rare, right? I found it in my local record store for $40 because they thought it was a bootleg. It was shrink wrapped, and they thought it was a bootleg and said that it was going to be clear. So I bought it because, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? I don't care. I don't give a shit. It was the official pressing. And what's super funny about this is that this isn't the first time this has happened. My brother went a few months back and I was with him, and we found another one before that. Price the same, also saying it was a bootleg, but turned out to be an official pressing. And I went on Discogs, I typed in the stuff that's in the wax. This is official. And I am like losing, I always lose my shit whenever I think about this thing. It's so silly that I got this record that you usually have to pay upwards of $60 to $100 for $40. That is crazy. We got Madvillainy by Madvillain, MF Doom and Madlib. Iconic album. One of the best rap albums of all time. And we got into my big Metallica, not a big Metallica section. I got 4 records here. Got Kill 'Em All. Super simple Metallica record, but I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Then we got Master of Puppets, the best Metallica record, and Justice for All. I'm honestly kind of thinking about selling this. Yeah, it has a few really good tracks on it. Like Blackened is awesome. The title track is awesome. One is iconic. But besides that, all of the other songs are just... Oh, Dyer's Eve is awesome too. But besides that, a lot of the tracks just kind of go on for too long, and I don't really like a ton of them. Then I also got 72 Seasons. I don't listen to this too much, but this was a present from my dad, so I hold on to it. Food by MF Doom. I picked this up on my birthday. This is awesome. I love this record a lot. It has One Beer. It has Rap Snitch Knishes. So many good tracks on this. Probably may or may not be better than Madvillainy. It's in my opinion, it bounces back and forth for me, but I know that might be a hot topic, might be a hot thing to say, but you know, death threats, whatever. Y'all do whatever you want. A bit of an obscure one here. This is Graffiti Crimes by My Sex. I have heard of this band before I got it. I blind bought this along with Painkiller back when I was in Quebec. This is a band from New Zealand, I believe. They have a few really good tracks on this album. I'd recommend checking this one out. It's a lot of fun. Next up, we have the first record I ever got. This is Thriller by Michael Jackson. Needs no introduction, needs no description. Got it on picture disc. Awesome album. We got Another Perfect Day by Motorhead. I still haven't fully listened to this all the way through. I really like Back at the Funny Farm. I've listened to side A all the way through, and I really enjoyed this. So I need to actually finish it. I'm actually thinking about it. And my phone is at 15%, so I need to get through these a little bit faster, if possible. We're almost done here, luckily. Origami Angels, Somewhere City. Favorite track on here has got to be the title track and Escape Rope, or Escape Rope to the title track. Super quick transition between those. This is like emo. This is from a two-piece emo band with a drummer and a guitarist that also occasionally plays bass. They're really good. They're like happy emo, and it's awesome. I love listening to them. We got Wish You Were Here. Best Pink Floyd record that I've heard so far, and The Wall. I might get Dark Side of the Moon. I personally think it's a little overrated, but I also need to listen to more Pink Floyd as well, so I'll get on that at some point. Got Worlds by Porter Robinson. Like I said, I'm not big on electronic music as I used to be anymore, but this one has a good amount of bangers in it. Like, it has a Goodbye to a World. That one's awesome. And Flicker is a lot of fun too. Let's see. This is a fun story. So this is, everyone knows this album. This is Purple Rain by Prince. I found this. This is a first pressing that I found in a thrift store for $3. If I were to bring this into like a record store like right now and like ask for like to trade it in, or like if I were to sell this online, I could probably sell it for like maybe like 10 times the price of that. Maybe like 12 or 13 times the price. It's insane. For the price I found this at. I'm very lucky to find this. Then next up, oh, in the condition that it's in too, it's in like almost mint condition. The Room on Fire by The Strokes. Reptilia, one of the best songs they've ever put out. I need to listen to more Strokes. I used to own The New Abnormal, but the more I listened to that album, the more I got annoyed with it. I don't really like The New Abnormal too much. Yeah, we got the Undertale soundtrack. This is, I think you can get this, if you're to buy it, you have to pay upwards of like $80. I got this when it was like still retail price. So, super happy to own this. I love it. We got a little bit of another obscure one here. This is Stop Loving Me by Tuv. So Tuv is a YouTuber. I know YouTuber music, blah, blah, blah. And honestly, yeah, this kind of does fall into that category. Some of the tracks on here are a little bit mid. But the overall vibe of the album is super heart-wrenching. And I do really love like some of the messages in this, and I love some of the sound of it. His singing isn't all too great. Oh yeah, this is also signed by him. And my Good Kid record, my Good Kid EP3, that was also signed. Forgot to point that one out. But yeah, this is an interesting one. I'd check it out if you're into like grunge by a YouTuber. You can imagine what that probably sounds like. Pick it. I'd seek it out if you want it. We got Flower Boy, Tyler the Creator. It's Flower Boy, dude. Probably one of the best hip hop records out there. Then we got Call Me If You Get Lost, the estate sale. This is the estate sale version, so this is the triple LP version. It comes with this big ass book along with a tri-gatefold. I can't even fit this in my record sleeves. It's so fucking bulky. But all of them come on like a Geneva blue color is what they call it. And compared to like the standard black version that I used to own. And I bought this because I don't really love this album at times, but all of the bonus tracks on here are absolute fire. They're like peak. So if I want to listen to just the bonus tracks, they're all on their own disc. So I can just pull out the bonus tracks and just listen to those. And this was just upgrading in a record that I already had to me. So, yeah. The Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack. This is one of the best Christmas soundtracks. It's really good. I love this thing so much. I bought this one like last month. I didn't buy it during Christmas time, unfortunately, so I didn't really get to experience it during Christmas time. Only showing off the pressing of this one because it's really cool. But I also managed to just recently tracked down our old DVD copy of the Christmas special. So I put it in a little sleeve and I put it in there with it. Which I think is super fun. I have one more LP in my collection here, and that is going to be 100 Mornings by Windows 96. This is a synthwave record. I think it's a really fun listen. Yeah, this is the extended version too, so it has a whole bunch of bonus tracks. If you were to listen to bonus tracks, they'd be their own EP on Spotify. So this is all of that plus an extra track that is only available on this record as well. So yeah, that is my whole vinyl collection of LPs that I have, but I also have a few other things as well that I would like to talk about. Let me put some of this aside. So I also got this Phantomime cassette that I got from a good friend of mine as a gift. I got this before I got the LP of it, but it says Holy Hits on the cassette. I think it's a lot of fun. So I still hold on to it. I'm not going to sell this thing ever. It's from a friend. Then next up, we got all of my 45 records. So this is one that I got randomly when I bought some record sleeves. It was just kind of in there. This is 45 by Laurie London. He's got The Whole World in His Hands and Handed Down. Handed Down is kind of a banger, I'm not gonna lie. And let's see. A Ghost 45. This has 2 covers of songs, pre-existing songs. So this one has covers of It's a Sin, which was by the Pet Shop Boys, and Avalanche, which I don't know who that was originally by, but both of them are bangers. 7 Inches of Satanic Panic by Ghost. This one has Mariana Cross. If you've not heard Mariana Cross, you are living under a rock. This is a fucking massive TikTok song. That's how I found out about Ghost, unfortunate as it is to say, through TikTok. But yeah, Mariana Cross also has Kiss the Go-Go. Super fun 45 single. It's also on Spotify, so I'd listen to that. Then I also have a flexi disc here that has exclusively Mariana Cross on it. Doesn't have Kiss the Go-Go on it, just has the same album artwork. It's a little flexi disc. It has the grooves in there, so you can just pull this out, pop it on the record player, and it'll play. I don't really play this thing too often because it's more of like a display piece. It came with my deluxe edition of Prequelle along with the 45 of It's a Sin and Avalanche. So it's more of like a novelty than something that would be played to me. But yeah, and finally, the last record I have here is, let's see, Elvis Presley, Santa Claus is Back in Town, and Blue Christmas. And I actually lied because I realized I have a few more LPs down here that I completely forgot about. So let's see. I'm not gonna count that. I think that's my brother's. I don't know why it's here. This is my like I consider this my like lesser record collection. Like I'm gonna hold on to them, but I don't really consider them as like major parts. So like just random excess Christmas records like this is like the Guidepost treasury of Christmas hymns. It's fine. It's honestly one of my least favorite ones. I actually tried to sell it, and I might try to, but they didn't take it because they have too many of those kinds of records at that store. So I might try to sell it at a different one. But this is actually a really fun one. I picked this up at the same thrift store that I got prints at. This is Sounds to Make You Shiver by Pickwick. It was the company, and this is literally just haunted house sound effects. And I think this is a super fun pickup. This is just a lot of fun to have. So I'll also put that on during Halloween. And another one is Joy to the World. This is another random Christmas record that I picked up for like $5, I think. This is a 2 LP too. So, I found this in a flea market. Then, other one here. This one's actually chock full of bangers. This is Merry Christmas from Lawrence Welk and his Champagne Music Makers. Yep. So this is 4 LP box set. It's mostly covering a bunch of Christmas songs, but I've had this thing for a really long time. It's probably dog shit to other people's ears, but I've had it for a really long time, so it's kind of gotten nostalgic for me in some way. But yeah. So that is every piece of music that I own. I think, and I hope. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's everything. This is 45 minutes of footage that I'm going to go and edit down now, so that's going to be a lot of fun to do. But yeah, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate people that actually do tune into these videos. I love just yapping about like my interests and stuff, which is why I'm making this channel. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what y'all guys think. What else should I get? Tell me stuff. What albums do you recommend? Stuff like that. Just talk to me in the comment section. I love talking to you guys down there. All right. See you.